Welcome, everybody. This is the David Araki podcast. I decided to do a solo podcast in the meantime because it's been a little difficult to find guests as of late. I decided that for the time moving forward until I can get guests more consistently, I'm going to be doing a Monday morning podcast. So the David Araki Monday podcast or Monday morning podcast, DAMP, I guess. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing a lot of people have been asking me that listen, or just friends in general, like, what's your Myers-Briggs personality? So today I decided I'll be taking the 16 personalities test on 16personalities.com. It's free. You should definitely check it out. Be able to learn something about yourself. Who knows? Sorry about that. You regularly make new friends. Oh yeah, so you just answer questions on this from strongly agree to strongly disagree. Yeah, just answer truthfully, honestly. Don't worry too much about what you get. I don't think any of the questions are too offensive or anything. And if they are, don't worry too much about it. Don't take things so personally. But yeah, first question. You regularly make new friends. I feel like I make a lot of friends. I feel like I like to talk to a lot of people. I'll agree to that. Not necessarily strongly agree. You spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. Yes, I like to go down rabbit holes. Whenever I'm really interested in something, I'll go all the way down. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. Not necessarily. I mean, I'll understand. I'll want to understand why they're crying and why they feel upset, but I won't necessarily feel like I want to cry too. But it also depends on what the situation is. Maybe I'll shed a tear or two. Yeah, generally not really. You often make a backup plan for the backup plan. No, don't do that, guys. I don't know. My opinion is you shouldn't even have a backup plan. You should just commit 100% to whatever it is you want to do. And if you dedicate enough time and you really commit to whatever it is you're doing, I believe that you'll make it work. I feel like thinking about a backup plan, in a sense, is just taking mental energy away from whatever it is you're doing. And having a backup to the backup plan, geez, you must either be a warrior or something, or no, yeah, just don't do that. Let's just focus on what we're doing and what we want to do. No backup plans. Strongly disagree. You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure. It depends what kind of pressure. I guess to a little quick background story about me. I used to pitch and I definitely used to fuck up a lot in certain situations. What would always happen was that I would always get the first two batters out, but then getting that third out was where it got a little more difficult. I'll either walk them or something, or walk two people, and it's oh man, yeah, I don't know, that kind of pressure. But at the same time, I like to do a lot of difficult hikes, sketchy hikes where if you fall on either side, you have about maybe a foot of walkway and you're just straddling a mountain, and a fall to the left or right will probably result in your demise. I don't know, in those situations, I just like to think, just breathe, stay calm, don't panic, and you'll be okay. So yeah, I think I generally or slightly agree with that. I usually stay calm. Well, I don't know about situations now. I'm not really in that same type of pressure situation as pitching. Oh man, I miss it though. Yeah. At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. No, I don't mind talking to new people. If the setting is right and whatnot, you should just go up and talk to new people. It's always nice to meet new people. You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another. No. Yeah, no. I mean, I have a lot of different things going on right now. I don't know. It keeps life interesting. Maybe I should, in a sense, trim things down and focus on stuff. I don't know. You are very sentimental. No, I don't really consider myself that sentimental. I don't really like to like live life in the past. So yeah, slightly disagree, I guess. I do think about it from time to time, though. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists. Uh, I mean, it's something I've been slowly working on now. Like, I recently started using calendars, like Google Calendar, a calendar app. That's been, really helpful in terms of like, knowing what's upcoming and whatnot. So, yeah, something I should probably use a little bit more of, be a little bit more organized. Yeah, I slightly agree. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall ability and knowledge. Uh, yeah, I feel like, yeah, but it, I feel like it generally forces me or makes me feel like I need to like practice more or something to get better. So like I'll slightly agree, but I don't let it really bother me all that much. I think mistakes are good. They're opportunities for learning. You feel comfortable just, oh yeah, I'm going back to the last slot. Like you might make a mistake, but you know what's even better? Learning from other people's mistakes. I try to learn as much as possible from what other people run into, because I feel like I'll probably come across like those problems in life, and if I can use somebody else's experiences to help me through those problems, like I can definitely save a lot of time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stubborn though, so it depends. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Have I ever done that? Yeah, I've done it. I don't do it very often though. You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analyses of creative works. Do I like to talk about creative works and analysis on those creative works? I mean, if it's like art or something, I'm just be like, oh, that's kind of cool, or that's interesting. As I got older, like I definitely see more value in like creative or art, artsy things. Yeah, I am slightly interested, so slightly disagree. You are more inclined to follow your head than your heart. Yes, people, definitely like think things through. Don't react on emotion. Generally doesn't put you in a good place by reacting to emotions. But definitely like, be aware of your emotions. It might, play a role in your decision making, but don't let it be 100% the reason why you make decisions. You usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine. I mean, I have like an outline of what I do. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my like daily routine. What I like to do on most days is like I'll wake up, rather early-ish. But today I woke up a lot earlier than normal. I woke up at like 7 so I could prepare for this, my first morning podcast. But generally, what I'll do is like I'll wake up, start my day with some coffee and protein. Yes, I mix my coffee with my protein. It tastes just like a mocha, so saves the money from those daily Starbucks runs. That's like one good thing about this pandemic, I guess. So yeah, I'll start with that. And then I'll get ready to work out, have like a morning workout around like 9 o'clock or so. From then I'll, work out for an hour and a half to 2 hours or so. Then I'll start my day, whether it be like right now studying for the MCAT or working on the thesis. And from there, it depends on the day. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I like to play basketball. I go to the park from like 6ish or so. Play some basketball. Those are like fun runs. Not crazy hard. Everybody kind of knows how to play, and it's just good fun. I like the people that I've been running with on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then from there, it's like dinner, then get ready to go to bed. Yeah, not much going on. I like it though. So it's okay. You prefer doing just yeah. So I'm not really one for daily routines, but I do have like a general outline in my head. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. I mean, I'm not really one to really care or worry too much about like, oh, what other people think of me. I mean, I just try not to be rude or a dick to them, you know. I don't think you should be rude or a dick in general. Just be kind, you know? I guess it's rather difficult for a lot of people to be kind, though. I don't know. No, I don't really care about what people think about me, or I don't really worry about it, like what impressions I leave on people. You enjoy participating in group activities. Yes, you know, that's why I like playing sports. Playing basketball is fun because it's a group activity. Do like solo activities like golf though, but usually when you golf, you know, you're in a group too. So yeah, I definitely enjoy groups. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending. Uh no. You know, they're okay. Like movies I can think of are like Salt, Inception. They're fun to think about, but that's about it, you know. I'll probably think about it for like a, you know, few minutes after a movie, and after that, that's it, you know, back to reality. Oh, keep missing the button. Uh, your happiness comes more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments. No, well, I mean, in terms of my own accomplishments, like feel, I feel like a fleeting moment of happiness whenever I accomplish something. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's for me, it's like I'll feel good for 3 seconds or so, and after that, it's like, oh, you know, what's next? Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's just in my head, there is no finish line. There's only like checkpoints. I do like helping, you know, my friends or people that need help. You're interested in so many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next. No, I mean, I am interested in a lot of things, but I know what I want. I have like a list of priorities in my head on like what I want to try first, what I want to try next. So, no, disagree. You're prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse. No, not much of a worrier. You know, if I take it as it comes, there's no sense like living with that type of anxiety every day, in my opinion. Yeah, you know, like I know some people that are like very high anxiety where, you know, they don't do much living, in my opinion. Everything's like a worry about like something negative happening. And, you know, with that whole like idea of manifesting, like with thinking about negative thoughts all the time, you know, maybe you're manifesting your own demise. I don't know. I don't like that whole manifesting thing. It's just weird, bizarre. Yeah, I don't understand why people are into it. You avoid leadership roles in a group setting. Yeah, I love leadership. You know, it's part of the reason why, in a sense, I want to become a physician. Like, I want to be able to, like, really help, you know, people out there, you know, with whatever, like, health related issues they're having. Yeah, I feel like as a physician, more than anything else, like you get to use the background, you know, science behind like, you know, certain treatments. Like you have to be knowledgeable in it. And in a sense, like you have to know when to apply it. And you have to be able to like, in a sense, like, you know, facilitate discussions as to like when and like how are you going to treat a patient. I think is very important. And, you know, I've had leadership positions in the past. I was a pledge educator for APO, and that was it was a fun role. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, definitely don't avoid leadership positions. You're definitely not an artistic type of person. I'd say like if you were to ask me this question like a few years ago, yeah, I'd strongly agree that I'm not artistic. But with like the start of this podcast, I feel like I've definitely gotten a little bit more artistic. So I'll slightly disagree with that. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings. Well, yeah, that goes back to the head versus heart thing. Yeah, you know, redundant questions. You prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. I think breaks are important. You know, I welcome breaks. So, no. But I probably should be more work first and like, you know, break later. You enjoy watching people argue. No. What are you, a psychopath? I'm not a psychopath. Like, who gets off to like watching people argue? I don't know. I've grown up around like, you know, parents and like just people in general arguing all the time. I don't understand why people could ever enjoy it. You tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself. Well, I don't make a conscious effort to avoid attention on myself. Like I'm not in a social setting. I'm not like, oh my God, I have to like, stay close to the walls so nobody sees me or anything. No, definitely not. If I get attention, I get attention. If not, then such is life. Your mood can change very quickly. No, not really that emotional. Like it takes a lot for me to have like an emotional response, I think. You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. No, I understand people work at like different speeds and stuff. Some people are faster than others. Like I consider myself a rather slow worker. I don't know. Be interested to see like, people I've worked with, like opinions on that. You often end up doing things at the last possible moment. I am a procrastinator, but it's because like without that pressure, I find it hard to focus. And like I don't know. I've had a lot of people say it's like a lack of discipline thing, but I don't know. I don't really know if it's that. People say it's like, oh, you're just not motivated. I don't know about that either. I don't know. It's just weird that like that's just how my brain works. Like I need that added pressure for me to, in a sense, like start and get things done. I don't know. Maybe I have ADD or ADHD or something. But yeah, I do like procrastinate. It's something I'm working on. You have always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. Well, I mean, yeah, everybody wonders like what happens after death. I do like philosophical questions like this, like, what's the meaning of life and, whatnot. Oh, these will be, maybe I'll talk about, those type of questions in a future episode. You usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own. Yeah, there's like a bunch of group like questions. Definitely like being around others. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. No, I like theoretical questions, like those philosophical questions or whatnot. Those are fun. My favorite, sections in like, journal articles or whatnot are like, the discussions where they start to go into like theoretical questions or like, future steps. I don't know. I think those like questions in science are fun. You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from your own. I don't know. I feel like I reason it through, not necessarily like, an empath toward it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I understand. I'd say it's more logical than like empathy. Is that what empathy is? I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. You usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible. Yes, kind of, kinda. I guess that goes back to the whole procrastinating thing. I don't know. I take a lot of time to think it through, like really think it through. I don't like to live life with like regrets, and I don't like to go back on like decisions. So yeah, maybe a little bit, very slightly. You rarely second guess the choices that you have made. Oh, it's like the very similar question. Um, yeah, I don't like to second guess choices I make. Like I feel like I take a lot of time before making a decision. So yeah, whatever decision I make, I feel like is probably the right decision that I made at that time. And if it's not the right decision, then there's lessons to be learned from it, which are like completely fine. After a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is what you need. I don't need it, but I mean I enjoy it. Like I went to Beer Lab for the first time in like 15 months now. And like that was really fun, just being out and about, seeing other people. I mean, it was a little bizarre, but it definitely was nice. You enjoy going to art museums. Now I do. I can honestly say, like when I was a kid, didn't really care for them because I was like, oh, it's just art, or just it was like a painting or whatnot. But I'd say I value art a lot more because of my PI Bob. Bob's really into art. Like he used to always take us to the Museum of Art in Hawaii. They have a really nice like cafe there, or bistro. I don't even know what's the difference really. But yeah, like we used to go there for lunches and whatnot, and like get to walk around the art museum, and it's like really cool. Yeah. Art museums are cool now. I'll go to them. But yeah, I guess art museums. If I'm traveling, would I make a special trip to a art museum? It depends. Yeah, it really depends. So I slightly agree. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. I don't understand them. Like, I'll like reason through them. It's like, oh, why is he or she sad? And I'll be like, oh, because this happened. So no, not that hard of a time. You like to have a to-do list for each day. That's something I should probably do more of. Write it down rather than just keeping a mental checklist. I generally do everything I need to do on my mental checklist. Something I should use more of, though. So I'll slightly agree. No, I'm pretty flexible at the same time. I like flexibility. You rarely feel insecure. I don't know. I feel like I try to keep negative self-talk to a bare minimum. I feel like feeling insecure is in a sense like feeding into that like negative self-talk. So no, don't like to feel insecure. I almost never feel insecure. You avoid making phone calls. I feel like that's the problem with society nowadays. We're not talking to each other enough. We're just texting and talking to each other on social media. Like you lose, I don't know. I just feel like, conversations through text aren't as rich as like phone calls or even like face-to-face interactions. But no, I definitely don't avoid making phone calls. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. I mean, that was like one of the original goals of my podcast. I like to get into people's heads, like, try to understand how they think or what they think. Yeah, I don't know, like I don't spend a lot of time on it, but I will spend time on it. So I guess I'll agree. In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities. I'll contact like I guess with like my group of old high school friends, like I'll contact like Micah or something and tell him, "Yo, what is everybody doing? Let's set something up." Like I won't be the one to like set it up though. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible. Huh. I don't know. I welcome breaks. I think, breaks are good. Taking, breaks is a really good thing. People should probably take more breaks and, just work efficiently when you're working. I wouldn't say it's a top priority to get back on track as soon as like, as possible or anything. So no. You're still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago. No, I don't think about mistakes I made a long time ago. It's just part of that negative self-talk thing, worrying too much about it. Just learn from them, Don't be bothered by them. You rarely contemplate the reason for human existence. No, I think about it all the time. I think about like the meaning of life all the time. Like, strongly disagree. Your emotions control you more than you control them. No, I think I have a pretty good control over my emotions. You take great care not to make people look bad, even when it is completely their fault. Ooh, that's a touchy subject. I'd say for the longest time, people would always ask me like, how are your parents doing? And then like what would generally happen is like I wouldn't really talk to them for like an extended period of time, like talking like, years or so. I don't know if people know this about me, but yeah, there was a time where I probably didn't talk to my dad for, I want to say like 5 years or so, maybe even longer. Yeah, might have been like high school through undergrad. Yeah, I'd say about 5 years, maybe, 7. Yeah. But and now in that time, everybody used to ask me like, friends or like, parents of friends or like, relatives like, "Oh, how's your dad doing?" And I would just in a sense like lie. Like I honestly don't know. I would just say, "Oh yeah, he's doing well." You know? Looking back now, it's like I should have maybe just been honest, rather than lie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if people are generally bad people, not saying my parents are bad people, maybe they are, I don't know, that like, they'll expose themselves. Like, you shouldn't be the one to expose, quote unquote bad people. Your personal work style is closer to a spontaneous burst of energy rather than organized, consistent efforts. Definitely agree. When somebody thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take for them to feel disappointed in you. Who thinks highly of me? For the most part, I don't really know many people that think that highly of me. Like, they probably just be like, oh, it's David, and that's about it. Like, yeah, anybody wants to tell me otherwise, say that they actually think highly of me, let me know. You can message me on like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or you can leave a voicemail. That'd be even more fun. Like, if like listeners can leave voicemails. But no, I don't generally think too much about what other people think about me. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. No, I like working with other people. Like, I kind of miss working in like a group setting. When I was working at the hospital, even though like it was stressful. Yeah, so people that don't know, I did work at a mental hospital. Yeah, it was very stressful, but it was nice to have coworkers. And then like that was like one thing about the pandemic that like kind of sucked. Like, you're just at home working from home, and it's like kind of dead. And all you really have is like Zoom meetings, and I don't know, don't enjoy Zoom meetings. So no, not really. You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time? No, it's not a waste of time. I mean, I understand a lot of people think it's a waste of time, but personally, I don't think it's a waste of time. Strongly disagree. You feel more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places. I liked studying at Starbucks. Like, that was kind of fun. But I mean, you have headphones in, listening to like, chilled cow, lo-fi. Quiet, intimate. I don't know. I like both. Depends. It really depends on like what it is I'm doing at each place. Yeah. At first glance how someone is feeling. No, I feel like I would need to like, talk to them a little more and understand like understand what they're feeling and whatnot. Sorry guys, like, trash truck is here, so I don't know if my mic's picking it up or not. Sorry about that. You often feel overwhelmed. It happens sometimes, but I feel like I'm pretty good at managing stress for the most part. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. No, sometimes I skip steps, whether it be intentional or not. No, maybe I'll like forget to do a step. It depends though. Like, it really depends. Like, in experiments, like, I follow everything to a T, whether or not people believe that or not. I don't know. You are very intrigued by things labeled as controversial. Yeah, debating's kind of fun. It's interesting to hear both sides of like, a debate. I think it's really important to hear both sides of the debate. Like, you should understand why people think like a particular way they think too, not only what they think. So yeah, I very much am intrigued. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. What? If you're getting hired, you don't know what, the situation is like for other people that, are getting or in the pool too. I don't know. No. But it depends. I don't know. It depends on the context, I guess. But generally, no, I wouldn't pass it, I guess. Yeah. You struggle with deadlines. Deadlines. Not really. I mean, there are times where I miss things. Yeah, generally not. You feel confident that things will work out for you. Yeah, it's a process. Like, I might not be where I want to be at the moment. or I wish it was at the moment, but you know, everything's.
Hey guys, just a quick break. I wanted to talk about our sponsor of this podcast, Anchor. Anchor is a free all-in-one podcasting suite accessible on any computer or mobile device. I've been getting a lot of questions, honestly, about like how did I start my podcast? And my journey started with me trying to find a software which allowed me to do everything I needed, such as recording and editing. And honestly, like Anchor like went above and beyond that. It definitely makes it easy for you to get published on various popular apps such as Spotify and Apple and Google podcasts. And it also helps you get monetized by setting you up with sponsors as your channel or your podcast begins to grow. Even if you're not like a podcast creator, you should definitely download this app, as you can find your favorite podcast and listen to it there, or you can explore and find new podcasts like these. So yeah, download the free Anchor app today from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or go to anchor.fm to get started.
So unfortunately, when I was recording, I didn't realize that my recording cut off after half an hour. So this time I tried recording directly into my Anchor app, but I realized there's a 30-minute cap. So moving forward, I'll be just using like my stock recording on my computer and then just uploading it. But yeah, so I concluded the 16 personalities test, and what I ended up getting was ENTP again. That is exactly the same thing I got last time. I think that I took it in 2019, so almost like 2 years ago or so. But the time before that, I took it in, I believe, 2017, and I got ESTP. So it's like generally, the same and everything. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know how much value there is to these personality tests, but I don't know. I think there's kind of cool, fun things to do on the side. Should definitely do it, and I would be interested to know what my listeners are. Feel free to drop a DM and tell me what Myers Briggs personality you are. I guess that leads to the next segment. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about funny stories going on this past week. So the first story is about that Colonial Pipeline. So for those of you that might not keep up with the news and everything, hackers this past week hacked a pipeline called the Colonial Pipeline that's responsible for transporting gas along the East Coast and I think into the South. It's funny because the hackers released a statement saying that they apologized for all of the inconveniences that they caused people, and that in the future they will target not as important infrastructure. I don't know. That to me, that story is just so bizarre because, when you're targeting a pipeline or something as important as critical infrastructure, exactly what you're doing. That you're going to inconvenience a lot of people, and the fact that before you got paid your ransom, that you come out with a statement saying that you apologize for it, that is bizarre. I don't know. I think that's a classic case of saying where I'm sorry clearly, isn't enough. Yeah, that's just a bizarre story. The second story I thought that was really funny this weekend was a story about that a university professor. I believe he was the professor, not professor, but the president of University of South Carolina, who got caught plagiarizing a commencement speech. And I thought that was funny because, when you're in school, there's such an emphasis on, hey, don't plagiarize. It's not, nothing good will ever happen for you or to you if you plagiarize. And, you often get, placed under academic probation, for academic dishonesty. Just generally not a good deal. But what's funny? This professor or president will probably be hired in another admin position in another university. Who knows? Or he'll just take an early retirement. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe plagiarism isn't as bad as we think. No, don't plagiarize, guys. And then the final story that I thought was interesting was a story from, our friend, well, maybe not our friend, but like from a very interesting person named Rachel Maddow. Without trying to get too, political or anything, like, here's the story. So, Rachel Maddow is like a very popular person on the internet and on a network called MSNBC. And this is what she had to say about the newest CDC mask guidelines, where you don't necessarily need to wear a mask if vaccinated. I'm going to have to rewire myself so when I see someone out in the world who's not wearing a mask, I don't instantly think you are a threat. Like, I don't know. That's just a bizarre story, too. It's like, so this whole time, or like in a course of 15 months, you went from seeing people without masks as a threat. Yeah, we weren't really wearing masks before. Did you always think everybody was a threat? I don't know. But she continues, or you are selfish, or you are a COVID denier, and you definitely haven't been vaccinated. I mean, we're going to have to rewire the way we look at each other. I don't know. I've talked to like a bunch of people about this story, and I think it's crazy that more people think like that comment is justified, and that's exactly how they feel too. And I don't know. To me, it's just sad that like it's become so like tribal, in the sense like the whole mask versus no mask thing. It's like, when can we go back to a time where we can just each all treat each other kindly and whatnot? I don't know. I'm probably gonna get flamed for that. Whatever. But yeah, guys, like, if you're still uncomfortable, not wearing a mask, you can go ahead and still wear a mask. But like, let's not look down on other people for not doing what you're doing. It's a more or less free country. Like, the science is there saying that like if you're vaccinated, you're fine without a mask. So yeah, let's treat each other kindly. And for the people out there that like don't want to get the vaccine, I suggest like maybe just talking to your like your primary care physician about it. Like, if they deem that you're not a healthy, good candidate for the vaccine, then your concerns were justified. But then if your PCP in a sense like says that you should get it, maybe you should get it. I mean, it also doesn't mean you can't go ahead and get like another consultation or like a second opinion. But if I'd say like you shouldn't be taking advice from the internet. It goes for the people that are very like pro-vaccine, and for the people that are like anti-vaccine. Like, don't listen to what you see on the internet or what you hear from friends. Like, I'd say take your medical advice from like people that are like your medical personnel, mainly your doctor. Well, that concludes the little short news segment that I thought was kind of funny or like bizarre or absurd. And then that like leads me into fan mail. So if you have any fan mail, feel free to like DM me on Instagram. That's probably the best way to reach me. You could also DM me on like Twitter or Facebook. Like, thanks for the people that submitted stuff for this week. And I guess the things that I would want people to send mail about are like life questions about maybe life, for life advice, maybe some rants about like maybe you need to rant about something, I can read it out for you. Or maybe there was a situation you were in where you really wanted to do something that might have been like against social norms, and like you could tell me what you wanted to do versus like what you actually did. So here's the first one. It comes from Tiffany from Bellevue. Hey, douchebag David. I like it. Like, yeah, mess up my name. Have fun with it. It makes it entertaining for me too. So, hey, douchebag David. Is it better to work a job you love or a job that makes you a lot of money? Well, it's a rhetorical question. I would need to know the context, a little more context maybe behind your situation. Or, this could just be like a very general question for anybody out there. I believe you should do something you love, like you're working for like 8 hours of the day. That's like a full third of your day, like why would you want to work for a third or, spend a third of your day doing something you don't like? I don't know. Like I think if you are doing something you really like doing, the money will come eventually. You'll find a way to make it profitable. That's my honest opinion. Second question comes from Trevor from Honolulu. Hey David the Dunce. Why did I rush through college and feel like I gained nothing out of it? Well, I don't know, Trevor. Why did you rush through college? And why do you feel like you got nothing out of it? Do you not value your degree? Like, I feel like that's something out of it. But at the same time, I understand that there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily use the degree upon graduation. It's, huh. If you just graduated, Trevor, congratulations. Like, it's definitely not easy being a student during these times, having to do online classes and everything. I can't imagine having been a student around this time. But for those of you that might be in college now, like I don't think you should necessarily rush through it. Like I know there's a lot of emphasis on like finishing in 4 years. Those are like for like really driven people and people that really know like what they wanted to do. Like I mean, I spent 4 years in undergrad, graduated in biology. I was like pre-med the entire time. But I don't think I necessarily felt like I rushed through it. It just felt like wasn't set up to go to med school immediately after like a lot of my peers were. So like I felt like the pain of like all that uncertainty. Maybe that's what you're feeling too. But yeah, don't I would say for younger people, don't rush through college. Like, take your time. Make sure you major in something you want to do, like whatever will help you maybe do what you love. Or if you don't really care about that and you care only about money, major in something profitable like nursing or engineering, for 4-year degrees or whatnot. Like, they pay pretty well, coming out. Like that's yeah. Next question, and this comes from Tony from Seattle. Hey, dark and depressed. I'm currently in the process of buying a first home. Congratulations, Tony. As a result, I have been looking for appliances and furniture deals, but I feel like I'm counting the chickens before they hatch since I haven't closed yet. I found the bed that I want for my guest room and my dining table to match the chairs I already have. The deals are really good, but should I purchase them? Tony. Hey Tony. I don't know the process of like home buying. I've never been in that process before, but congratulations, man. Like that sounds so exciting that like you finally get to, buy your own place or have your own place. Like, that's a dream for like a lot of us. Um I don't know much about the closing process. What I hear nowadays is that a lot of people have to compete against a lot of other like bidders or buyers for like properties. Uh, Maybe the property you're looking at doesn't have that much of a pool of applicants or whatever they're called. Maybe you know that you have a higher chance of getting it, or maybe you already know you're gonna get it even though you haven't closed yet. I'd say in that situation, maybe you should just go ahead and purchase it. But if, there's that much uncertainty behind it, I would probably hold off or see what that company can do for you. Like if they're willing to, in a sense, like store it for you longer, or like maybe you have the space in your current place to store it longer. I don't know how I feel about like purchasing like a storage unit just for furniture because, who knows how long it would be before you close and actually get your place. But yeah, see what they'll be willing to do to work with you. And good luck on the home buying purchase. Good luck on the home buying. Yeah. I think that's exciting, man. Good for you. All right, and here's the last question or last fan submitted mail. Hey David, my roommate always leaves her sex toys in the bathroom. At first it didn't bother me, but now there's a dildo suction cup to the wall. Please don't do that to your roommates, guys. That wouldn't be a problem, but our shower is small and the dildo extends about a foot off the wall. Well, thank you for that And this comes from Jason from Honolulu. Thank you, Jason. Without sounding homophobic, it's been making me very uncomfortable that I can't stand facing it. But facing away from it makes me equally as uncomfortable. What would you do in this situation? Okay. You definitely need to bring it up with your roommate, like that. I don't think, that's in a sense appropriate. Like, she should probably keep it to herself, and, whatever she does in her shower time, she should definitely, make sure to take it out of the shower when she's done. Yeah, I don't know, I would joke, like the comic side of me would, take it off of the wall, knock on her door with it and be like, oh, hey, how do I use this? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it is weird. Yeah. Go talk to her. And hopefully you guys can, have a peaceful resolution without much conflict. Good luck, Jason. But yeah, I'm sorry that like the podcast cut off midway through when I was taking the personality test. And be sure to send your mail into me so that I can read off, whatever questions or anything you guys have next week. Thanks, guys. And I decided that I will leave with the song or intro song that I worked with Complex Colors, so you guys can be the first to listen to it.